Picture a shadow trailing you, silent but commanding, its whispers guiding your steps, your words, your very thoughts.
It's not a ghost or a myth, it's real, woven into the fabric of your life through the subtle pull of others' agendas. This shadow thrives on your habits, your routines, the predictable rhythms you follow without question. It knows when you'll say yes, when you'll back down, when you'll bend to keep the peace. When did you last feel truly in control, untouched by this unseen force steering your choices? Was it a moment of defiance, a spark of clarity, or is it so long ago it feels like a stranger's memory? Most of us live unaware, dancing to tunes we didn't choose, puppets on strings we don't see. So let me ask you, raw and urgent, do you feel the shadow behind you, and are you ready to face it? Here's the harsh, gut-punching truth. You're not a victim of fate. You're a victim of your own blindness. Your habits and routines, the ones you cling to for comfort, make you an easy mark for those who know how to play you. You're predictable, an open book to anyone with the cunning to read it. A colleague who guilts you into extra work, a friend who leans on your reliability, a system that counts on your compliance. You felt their pull, haven't you? The way they nudge you into decisions that aren't yours, the way they exploit your patterns to get what they want. It's not random, it's calculated, and it works because you've let your life become a script they can rewrite. The world doesn't stumble into your choices, it orchestrates them, and your routines are the stage. Why do you keep performing when you could rewrite the play? Let me tell you about Sarah. She was 34, an office manager who prided herself on being dependable. She always stayed late, always said yes to last-minute tasks, always smoothed over conflicts with a smile. Her colleagues loved her for it. Her boss leaned on her without a second thought. But Sarah didn't see the shadow, the way her predictability made her a tool. One day, her manager promised her a promotion if she took on a massive project, no questions asked. She did, pouring in nights and weekends, only to watch the role go to someone else. Betrayed, she realized. Her routine of saying yes, of being the good one, had made her a pawn in a game she didn't understand. That night, she vowed to change, to question, to pause, to break the habits that left her exposed. She started small, saying no to small favors, and felt a spark of freedom. Does that stir something in you? Have you been played by your own patterns too? You felt it, haven't you? That sinking sense that someone's steering your choices, that you're dancing to a melody you didn't pick. You know the moments, when you've agreed to something your gut screamed against, when you've stayed silent to avoid a fight, when you followed a path because it was expected, not chosen. You've been their puppet, haven't you, moving to their rhythm, your habits the strings they pull with ease. It's not just unease, it's a betrayal, a quiet theft of your power by a shadow you've let linger too long. You're tired, aren't you, tired of being swayed, of being used, of feeling like a piece in their game? Why do you keep dancing when you could cut the strings? This isn't a gentle nudge, it's a wake-up call, a siren in the dark. The psychology of manipulation is merciless. It thrives on your predictability, your need for approval, your fear of disrupting the familiar. Sarah lived it. Every yes was a bid to be valued, every routine a plea to be safe. But safe from what? From the shadow that fed on her compliance, that grew stronger with every habit she didn't question. You're living it too, every time you fall into the same patterns, every time you let their expectations shape your day, every time you choose comfort over control. Your routines aren't just habits, they're vulnerabilities, maps to your weaknesses that manipulators read with a smile. It's not their cunning that traps you, it's your blindness, and it's time to open your eyes. The drama surges here, where the heart races and the stakes feel like cliffs against a storm. Your life's a stage, and you've been the actor, reciting lines you didn't write. Sarah played her part, the reliable one, the yes woman, until the curtain fell, and she saw the shadow pulling her strings. You're on that stage too. Every time you've followed their script, every time you've let their guilt or flattery move you, every time you've stayed predictable because it felt easier. It's not ease, it's enslavement, a slow surrender of your will to a shadow you can banish. The world wants you pliable, a pawn they can nudge, but you're not a pawn, you're a player, if you'll dare to see the game. What stops you from stepping off the stage? This is your moment of truth, where the shadow looms and the choice burns. Sarah faced hers, saw the strings, and cut them, starting with a single no that shook her world awake. You can face yours too. Look at the habits that bind you, the automatic yes, the reflex to please, the routine you follow without thought. They're not innocent, they're the shadow's grip, tightening every time you let them stand. The world's not your master, not unless you let it be. You're still here, still breathing, still holding a spark of the power they haven't claimed. The shadow's real, but so are you, fiercer, stronger, ready to rise. So stop now, right now, and ask yourself, who's pulling my strings? See them, name them, and swear to never dance again. Your freedom's waiting. Cut the strings, reader, and claim it before the shadow tightens its hold. Why do you let others slip so easily into the driver's seat of your life? Stop for a moment and feel the weight of that question. When did you last make a choice that was purely yours, untouched by the subtle nudge of someone else's will? Your mind is a battlefield, and right now you're losing, not because you lack strength, but because you've left the gates wide open. Your habits, your routines, the patterns you follow without a second thought. They're not just quirks, they're the cracks through which manipulators creep, turning your thoughts into their tools. So let me ask you, raw and unflinching, why do you keep handing over control when you could be the one holding the reins? Your mind is your greatest asset, but it's also your greatest vulnerability, and you're the one betraying it. Every habit you lean into, every routine you cling to without question, is a signal to the world. Here's how to play me. You're not losing because you're weak. You're losing because you're asleep, lulled by the comfort of predictability, blind to the way it makes you an easy mark. You've felt it, haven't you? The way a colleague's flattery sways you, the way a friend's guilt trip pulls you in, the way you bend to expectations because it's what you always do. Your routines aren't just patterns, they're chains forged by your own hands, and manipulators know exactly how to tug them. Why do you keep forging when you could break free? You've been there, haven't you? Caught in the web of your own routines, doing what's expected because it's what you've always done. You know the moments when you've agreed to something you didn't want, stayed silent to avoid a scene, followed a path because it was familiar, not right. You've handed over control, haven't you, letting their words, their needs, their agendas steer your mind while you sleepwalk through your own life. It's not just a slip, it's a surrender, a quiet gift of your power to those who know how to take it. You're exhausted, aren't you? Exhausted from being pulled, from being played, from losing yourself in the trap of your own mind. Why do you keep the gates open when you could lock them tight? Your mind craves comfort, approval, safety, and manipulators feast on it. They don't need force, they use your habits, your need to be liked, your fear of breaking the mold. Your habits aren't just blind spots, they're invitations, and manipulators use every time. It's not their cunning that traps you, it's your consent, and it's time to revoke it. The drama surges here, where the stakes feel like fire licking at your heels. Your mind's a fortress, but you've left it unguarded, its walls breached by the routines you've let stand. You're standing there too. Every time you've followed their lead, every time you've let their words outweigh your truth, every time you've stayed predictable because it felt safer. It's not safety, it's servitude, a slow theft of your will by a world that loves your weakness. The manipulators aren't your masters, not unless you let them be. You're not a pawn, you're a force if you'll dare to wake up. What stops you from slamming the gates shut? This is where the air crackles, where your heart demands action. Look at the habits that bind you, the reflex to please, the routine of silence, the pattern you follow without thought. They're not neutral, they're traps, luring you into their game. The world wants you pliable, a mind they can mold, but you're not clay, you're steel, if you'll forge yourself. You're still here, still breathing, still holding a spark of the power they haven't claimed. The trap's real, but so is your strength, fiercer, sharper, ready to rise. So stop now, right now, and find one habit, one weakness, one chain you've clung to for safety. Name it and swear to break it. Your mind's your own. Claim it before the trap snaps shut. What if you could turn the tables, see through the veil of manipulation, and become the one who sets the rules? Imagine your mind as a chessboard, not as a pawn moved by others, but as the hand that moves the pieces, sharp, deliberate, untouchable. Niccolo Machiavelli, the master of power's raw truth, saw life as a game, a clash of wits where the cunning thrive and the blind fall. Your habits, your routines, they've made you a target, but what if you could wield his wisdom to rewrite the game? What if you could step out of the shadows and claim power over those who've played you? So let me ask you with fire and urgency, are you ready to stop being the prey and start being the player? The world is a battlefield of influence, and you're losing because you don't see the moves. Machiavelli didn't sugarcoat it. People are driven by self-interest, and manipulators are the foxes who spot your weaknesses before you do. Your predictability, your routines, your reflex to please or avoid conflict. They're the traps you've set for yourself, and others walk right in. You've been played, haven't you? By the colleague who knows you'll say yes, by the friend who guilts you into compliance, by the system that counts on your silence. It's not their strength that beats you. It's your ignorance of the game, your failure to see the board. Why do you keep playing blind when you could open your eyes and strike? Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. Machiavelli wrote in The Prince, a razor-sharp reminder that power lies in perception, not just action. His lessons are your armor. Be a fox to spot the traps, a lion to fend off the wolves. Manipulation thrives on your transparency. Your habits are a script others read with ease. But Machiavelli's game is different. It's about seeing before you're seen, acting before you're acted upon, controlling the narrative before it controls you. Most don't play this way. They stumble through life, reacting to every nudge. Their mind's a playground for those who know better. You've stumbled too, haven't you? Every time you've let their flattery sway you. Every time you've followed their lead without question. Every time you've been a pawn because you didn't know the rules. But ignorance isn't your fate, not yet. Let's step back to Renaissance Italy, where Machiavelli watched princes and popes weave webs of power. Consider Cesare Borgia, a figure Machiavelli admired for his cunning. Borgia was no saint. He was a fox, always a step ahead, using deception and strategy to outmaneuver rivals. When a treacherous governor threatened his rule, Borgia invited him to a meeting, feigned friendship, and swiftly eliminated him, securing his power. Borgia saw the game, the motives, the traps, the stakes, and played it with precision. His lesson? Know the players, read their moves, and never let your predictability be your downfall. You're in a game too, reader, with manipulators who study your habits like Borgia studied his foes. Why let them win when you could learn from a master? You're ready, aren't you? Ready to take Machiavelli's wisdom and turn it against those who've pulled your strings. You've felt the sting, the way their words twist your choices, the way their agendas slip into your mind, the way your routines make you an easy mark. You've been their piece, haven't you, moved across the board while you thought you were free. It's not just a loss, it's a theft, a quiet robbery of your will by players you didn't see. You're tired of being outplayed, of being less than the force you could be. I see you, standing at this crossroads, your power waiting, your eyes half open to the game. You're not here to lose, you're here to rule. So why do you keep reacting when you could be the one they fear? The drama surges here, where the stakes feel like a storm breaking overhead. Life's a chessboard, and you've been a pawn, moved by hands you didn't question. Machiavelli's world was no different, a tangle of plots and power where only the sharp survived. Borgia thrived because he saw the moves before they came, because he wasn't bound by predictable habits or naive trust. You're bound, aren't you? Every time you've followed the same script, every time you've let their guilt or charm nudge you, every time you've stayed in your lane because it was easier. It's not ease, it's exposure, a wide open door to those who know how to push. The game's not over, reader, not unless you let it be. You're not a pawn, you're a player, if you'll dare to see the board. This is where the fire burns, where the air hums with urgency. Machiavelli's lessons aren't just history. They're your playbook, a guide to spotting the traps, outsmarting the foxes, roaring like a lion. Most won't learn. They'll stay pawns, their lives a series of reactions to moves they never saw coming. They'll call it bad luck, but it's blindness to the game, to the power they could wield. You've been blind too, haven't you? Every time you've let their words steer you, every time you've stuck to routines that left you exposed, every time you've lost because you didn't play. But loss isn't your name. You're a force, a mind, a will that can turn the game upside down. What happens when you start seeing, start playing, start winning? This is your moment, your chance to seize power over the game. Borgia saw his rivals' moves and struck first. You can see yours too. Look at the players in your life, the ones who nudge, who guilt, who exploit your habits. They're not invincible, they're readable if you'll study them. Machiavelli's wisdom is yours. Be the fox who spots the trap, the lion who scatters the wolves. The chatter of their manipulation, their flattery, their pressure, their subtle cues is loud, but your clarity is louder, a force that cuts through their game like a blade. Most will falter, too comfortable as pawns, too afraid to play. Not you. You're here, awake, ready. So start now, right now, watch, listen, learn. See one move, one tactic, one string they pull. Name it, reader, and swear to counter it. The game's on, and your power's waiting. Play it, and never be manipulated again. Close your eyes and feel it. You stand on a peak, the wind of freedom brushing your face, the clamor of manipulators fading into a vast, unshakable silence. No one dares tell you who to be, what to do, how to think. You are untouchable, your mind a fortress, your will a flame that burns through their strings. This is the silence of freedom, not an absence, but a presence, a new world where you rule your fate, unshaken by the chatter of those who once played you. You've broken the chains of routine, seen through their games, and now you stand, sovereign, alive, free. So let me ask you, with a fire that won't wait, isn't this the life you were born for, where your soul finally breathes free? Here's the brutal, heart-stabbing truth. Most will never know this silence. They'll stay chained to their habits, too afraid to face the power of their own freedom. They'll cling to the familiar, to the routines that make them predictable, to the comfort of being pulled by others' strings. You've seen them, scurrying to please, reacting to every nudge, their lives a blur of compliance, their freedom a dream they don't dare chase. They're not bound by force, they're bound by fear. Fear of standing alone, of breaking patterns, of claiming a life no one can manipulate. That's the tragedy of routine. It promises safety but delivers servitude, leaving you a puppet while others write your story. But you're not here to be their pawn. You're here to forge a new world. Why settle for their script when you could write your own? Let me tell you about Aisha. She was 37, a paralegal trapped in a cycle of saying yes to her boss's endless demands, her family's expectations, her friends' reliance. Her routines were ironclad, always available, always agreeable, always putting others first. But it left her hollow, her own dreams buried under their needs. One day, a co-worker manipulated her into taking the blame for a mistake, and something snapped. Aisha stopped, saw the strings, her predictability, her fear of conflict, and vowed to cut them. She started small, saying no to extra tasks, skipping draining social events, carving out time for herself. Some pushed back, others drifted, but Aisha soared. She enrolled in art classes, rediscovered her voice, became a presence others respected, not used. Her silence wasn't empty, it was freedom, a new world where no one could pull her strings. What world could you build if you broke free? I'm talking to you, right where your heart roars, right where your soul demands more. You're not born for servitude, you're born to rule, to live, to be. You've felt the weight, haven't you? The drag of routines that made you their tool, the sting of being played by those who knew your moves. You've been their puppet, dancing to their guilt, their flattery, their subtle cues, your habits the strings they pulled with ease. It's left you fractured, hasn't it? Your freedom dimmed, your power buried, your life shaped by hands not your own. You're tired of being swayed, of being predictable, of being less than the force you are. I see you standing at this peak, your silence waiting, your freedom ready to blaze. You're not their peace, you're a storm, a truth, a world they can't touch. Are you ready to claim it? This is where the fire burns, where the stakes rise like a tide against the shore. The silence of freedom isn't a gift, it's a conquest, won by shattering the routines that bound you, by seeing the game as Machiavelli did, by choosing your power over their control. Most won't choose. They'll stay tethered, their lives a reflex to every demand, every manipulation, their freedom a whisper they never hear. They'll call it life, but it's less, a shadow of what they could have been, because they fear the silence, the solitude, the strength of standing free. You've been tethered too, haven't you? Every time you've followed their script, every time you've let their agendas shape your day, every time you've stayed predictable because it was easier. But ease isn't your name. You're a warrior, and your battle is now. Picture it. A world where you're not their echo but their awe, not their tool but their reckoning. You've been their canvas, painted with their needs, but canvases can be wiped clean, can't they? Aisha wiped hers, broke her routines, and built a life where her silence was her power, her presence a force because it was hers alone. You can build yours, not their game, but your truth, not their strings, but your wings. Most won't. They'll stay caught, their minds a playground for manipulators, their lives a string of I should-s they never questioned. They'll fade, not because they're less, but because they never dared to be more. But you're here, reader, awake, alive, ready to rise above. This is your rebellion, your crown, your new world. You're not here to dance to their tune. You're here to forge a silence so powerful it drowns their noise. Machiavelli's wisdom is your guide. See the players, break the patterns, claim the board. Aisha claimed hers, her nose carving a path to art, to freedom, to a life no one could manipulate. You're next. Stop bending to their will. Start building your own. Let go of their games. Embrace your silence. You'll lose some, the ones who thrived on your compliance, who fed on your routines, but you'll gain everything. Your clarity, your strength, your you. The world doesn't need another pawn. It needs a sovereign, a mind that sees, a soul that stands free. So stand. Not tomorrow, not when it's safe now. Let the silence of freedom be your anthem, your armor, your truth. The chatter's loud, their manipulations, their demands, their subtle pulls. But your silence is louder, a force that reshapes the world around you. Most will stumble, too scared to break their chains, too soft to claim their power. Not you. You're the spark in the void, the storm in the calm, the sovereign they didn't see coming. Aisha built her world, her silence a canvas of color and strength. Your world's waiting, fiercer, brighter, yours. What will you do with it? Step into the silence, unapologetic and radiant. Break the routines, claim your power, and let your freedom be a fire no one can extinguish. The choice is yours, make it now.